right, sweet. So it's about six past. I think we can get started. A few high-level notes is we'll have about six presentations for this town hall, and we'll be capping it at 5 minutes per presentation. And then afterward, we'll have, of course, like 5 minute Q&A. So all in all, you get maybe 10 minutes to present, have Q&A, feedback, so on and so forth. I know a lot of new members are here, which is awesome to see. I know a lot of reoccurring members are here, which is awesome to see. And yeah, I can't wait to get started. So let's get started. The first one we have is Partho for prompt extend. Are you here, my friend?
Let me just give you like a basic idea of what the project is about. Uh, so yeah, let's start with here. So the project is about like current diffusion models basically require like a lot of prompt engineering. As you could see, this is like a result of their training processes and the training data they have. So like the training data they have like these they are trained on like images on the web that have like alt text. So they are trained on those text, and those texts have like these different style cues for different stuff. So after training, the model has like this is the result of that the model has like started to associate these different style cues with like better looking picture, like something like highly detailed, though it doesn't mean that much, but like to the model highly retains it uh, correlates that to like very high quality image generations. So like there's like a whole industry for this like prompt engineering things. Like there are people working on it, like generating these style cues for prompts to make like very good generations of images. So basically what the project is about is like if I were to create an image, so I could come up with something like this. Like I could give it a basic idea of like I want a fashion model walking down a catwalk, and but like for me, creating all of these style cues, that's like a bit much. Like it could get out of hands pretty quickly. So the the basic idea of the this project is like you just give this very simple prompt, and it would generate the style cues for you. So if you could see this image, I gave it like a prompt like post-apocalyptic district hospital, and the extended prompt would be something like this: raining building avenue. So it just concatenates all of these different style cues to it, to which supposedly makes the image generation better. And so yeah, that's like the project. Uh, the whole code is all open source, so like you could go to the GitHub and everything is there, from the dataset collection to the app to the model. uh, Also the model, I've uploaded the model on Hugging Face Hub, so you could download it on your own local machine, or maybe create an service of your own through this model. uh, and yeah, here's the main UI that a lot of people are using. So this is the main UI. Like if I give it like some simple prompt like giant dragon flying in the sky, so the extended prompt you could see like lightning in the background, mountain on the right, fantasy digital art, fantasy style art. So it gets that, and also like it gets like artist names, which are important if you want to like create really good images. And like let me just do something else. Maybe a wolf on a mountain. Maybe we'll try something like this. So it's quite fast.
Oh,
So yeah, so it comes up with
whoa.
these. Uh, is someone asking something?
I think it was a noise of amazement.
Exactly.
Oh,
I think they're marveling at your work right now.
oh,
Please continue.
so yeah. So like if I go with something like Elon Musk with the Elon Musk as Thor, something like this, and I generate a style cube. And you could see Elon Musk has thought Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU, splash art, movie still, cinematic lightning, and all of the usual stuff like bokeh or shallow depth of field. So, and these uh, like if you go to Lexica, you could see like and pick any very good looking images, and you could see like there are all of these d- prompts added to it. So these supposedly make the images really good. Uh, so yeah, the this thing is also there, and like what it's trained on is this wonderful data set, diffusion TV. So it's like this whole data set of images, prompts. They're like I think 14 million prompt pairs. Yeah, 14 million prompt pairs. So there's this like whole everything here. So what I did is since I needed just the prompts for training the model, so I just made a subset of it with like unique prompts. So this is like the data set. You could check this out if you want to create your own model out of it. Uh, so yeah, these are all of the data sets, and I trained then a GPT-2 model on it, and from using Hugging Face, I trained a GPT-2 model on it, so it would continue the text with image the style cues. So yeah, as for deliverables, first let me just I got grant for the round 7, and for that I through that grant I like trained the I significantly increased the training size. First it was like 80K, and then I increased it to like 2 million using this diffusion db data set, and like it was very good. Like the improvements were very significant. Like the model became very much context aware of its main subject. So yeah, that was like my round 7 deliverable, and like for this round I'm thinking of like scaling up the model architecture, and yeah, trying out different architectures, because currently I'm using GPT-2 model, which has like 1.5 billion parameters. So like there's room for improvement. I could try something like GPT-J, or I could try something like GPT-J or GPT Neo X. So these are like 6 billion and 20 billion respectively. So yeah, as for other deliverables, I'm also like thinking about making the UI, working on the UI a bit, because there was suggestions from the community to like have some way of having guiding the style queue generation, like having like a cyberpunk setting or fantasy setting, and then creating style queues over it. So I'm thinking of like changing the UI a bit, uh, and yeah, basically more experimentations, maybe experimenting with the pre-trained models, also adding a custom pipeline to the diffusers library so that people could use it with that. Yeah. Also, one more thing. Endomorphosis. I think he's a part of the community. That's his Discord name. So he did this wonderful thing of like he did took this diffusion db dataset, and since we have images, so he aesthetically scored. He used a aesthetically scoring model, and he scored all of the prompts. So like he got uh, aesthetic scores for all of these prompts. So, and he shared the data set with me, so I'm also thinking about incorporating that some way into the model also, to make the generations better. uh, yeah, I think I hope I haven't passed the time much. Yeah, I think that would be it for me.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah,
Um,
any any questions?
yeah, any questions, anyone?
Yeah, does it work? Like, can
uh,
people hear me?
yeah, yeah.
No, I
Good.
mean, how does the meeting work? I'm so sorry. I mean, no, I know your stuff works, but I meant, can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can
Awesome.
hear
Okay,
you.
sorry. I'm really, I'm shaking right now. Sorry, it's like from something that happened prior to the meeting. I wanted to say I'm really impressed with your project, and I have some really big experience with fine-tuning GPT because I run a project that is a mod for a game, and it allows you to basically chat with the characters without having to, run like gigantic models or like try to get ChatGPT to do it or something. I worked on it for like a year, and
Yeah.
there's like a couple of fine-tuning methods. So all of them work via Hugging Face. If you want,
Right.
I can share a few with you because some of them are like really nice. One of the things that is really problematic with Hugging Face is that their training is really prone to catastrophic forgetting, and like one of the things you can do is like freezing like every layer except the last one, for example. That will yield so much better results because you still have like the knowledge of the outside world, so to say. So that are things you can try. If you want, I can
Yeah.
point you to the repo and you can
Uh,
see.
like right now, I'm training it from scratch because I had to train a new tokenizer because the thing is since a lot of these prompts has like artist names, and like the artist names, the tokenizer was breaking up those the pre-trained tokenizer was breaking up those artist names. So I had to train a new tokenizer. So I had to
Gotcha.
train a new model from scratch. But yeah, I'm thinking of like experimenting with a pre-trained model and fine-tuning it. I haven't tried it because I think like that pre-trained model has like idea of the world, right? So if I fine-tune it on like prompts, maybe it could come up with style cues that were not in its data set. So yeah, that could be interesting. So yeah.
Oh, awesome. Okay, well, it seems like that what you said is a very good concern, and I think maybe fine-tuning entirely might be a better way then, because if you're changing the tokenizer, of course, like every output is just weird if
Yeah.
you keep like the original weight. So yeah, I would definitely keep going then as you do. Another thing I did there is maybe, but you probably already tried it as well, but there's something you can try, like really low learning rates, like exceptionally low. Then it will also keep some of the original weights. So that's something you could try, but yeah, I'll leave that up to you. But
Yeah.
if you want, I can share the GitHub. It has some interesting things.
Right.
Cool.
Uh,
Go ahead,
so
Partha.
like yeah, for the I actually haven't really fiddled around with the hyperparameters, but yeah, like the if I'm fine tuning it and from a pre-trained model, yeah, low parameter would certainly help to not, yeah. So yeah, thank you for the suggestion.
Awesome. Before we move on to the next one, Partha, I want to say I use prompt extend all the time. I think I told you that on the forum review.
Yeah,
Really looking forward to the taxonomy of different themes to choose from in terms of style cues to choose from. But yeah, I really do use it all the time, so appreciate it.
yeah,
Um,
thank you.
yeah.
I'm glad you liked it. So yeah,
It
a
actually
lot of
helps me
people.
generate the images that I use in our Twitter threads. So, I mean,
Yeah,
it's been seriously useful. So, yeah.
yeah, a lot of people use it. Like a lot of people have reached out to me saying like this is very cool and this is like helping them with
Exactly.
this.
Nice. Well, the next one moving on, we have Peter presenting Leap, which, from my understanding, is a method for fine-tuning models, or perhaps a faster method for fine-tuning models. Go ahead if you're ready. You're on mute if you didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, everyone. It's nice to be here. And I first wanted to say that um, I want to give a little bit of a background as to why this project exists, because this thing kind of came from a huge background that was something that started with the question that I just keep asking myself whenever a press release came out, which is um, why do we go bigger? Like, there's even a term for it, right? LLM, large language model. And it makes sense because everything proves bigger is better. And in my opinion, that I do not believe that. Like, yes, it works, but I don't think it's the end game. Back in the day when the major player was OpenAI, I was really interested in tech. I started learning myself how to code when I was like 9 years old, working with Linux and everything, just doing the whole thing. And I grew up with tech, but somewhere down the line, I lost interest in AI because I felt like whenever OpenAI came with something, was like, where's the model? Where's the code? Like it just the excuse was always like, yeah, it's too big for people to run and it's unsafe and blah blah blah. So I was like, yeah. But then more open communities came, like Hugging Face, Stability AI, well, Algovera, and things just started looking up, and I started getting interest again in AI technology. But the question remains, why bigger? Why not smaller? Why not making it more flexible, more efficient? Because ultimately, efficient AI means more AI, and that's what leads me to the reason why Leaf came up. Somewhere last year, I, like many other people, was making like projects of Stable Diffusion because, well, it was freaking awesome. And eventually, I was working on my own Discord bot. I have one before, working with latent diffusion and with Disco diffusion, even like tons of models. So the architecture was also really good for multiple models. But eventually, we got a very generous gift from the folks at Gina AI, which basically told us, yeah, you can use our cloud for free for life. So that meant the bot could be running for free as well, for basically at least on my server forever. But that leads to the next question is we don't have much hardware. We have one GPU, but I wanted to do something really cool with that. And back when Leap was in development, the fastest method you had for fine-tuning was textual inversion. And textual inversion means that you can add your own concept to a model. So we all know Stable Diffusion. I don't think that needs introduction. And basically what textual inversion does is it learns a new word. And that's all it does. It doesn't do anything else. So you basically give a few images as like a selfie or like a game or whatever you want, like anime. You can figure it out, and you attach a word to it. Like if I do a selfie of myself, of course I attach Peter to it as a name, and I can use that in combination with all of the other words. So you can make prompts, and you can add yourself in your AI, basically personalizing yourself. But that took, I think, around 1 hour on my RTX 3080. And people were doing this stuff on A40s to make it faster. And they also did Dream Boot on those kind of GPUs. And that's where I felt like, can we make this faster? And that's where research began. And there's multiple methods that came out in this field, but none of them actually tackle the problem, at least what I've seen tackle the problem from the core, which is basically the training. They all make training faster. They make training more efficient, and that's really good. And I like that as well. But I'm kind of neurodivergent, and I want to try something else. So I was like, can I not start faster? Like some kind of initial weights, because all of the initial weights are always like a noise, right? A normal distribution. So my idea was, can I input my image through another model first that will predict how the weights are going to look like of my fine-tuned model, and then train? So that what happens ultimately in the end is you will have a start position, which means that going to that end where your fine-tuned model is much, much faster. To be honest, that was didn't go so well. And I guess that's also why it didn't happen before. So it took like 6 months. I gave up somewhere down the line. Then I kind of got an eye-opener about how I wanted to do things, and just really started analyzing the data. And that's when Leap came in. So where are we now? Well, the first version of the model is already done. So you can actually download that for free. You can try that out on your own. You can try it out in a bot if you don't have the hardware for it. Training textual inversion takes less than 4 minutes on a single RTX 3080. And some people, they told me like, yeah, but what does it matter? Waiting an hour, waiting 4 minutes. I mean, who cares, right? I mean, it's just like waiting for a render. It doesn't matter. Like, it's your art, it's your personal thing. That's true. But if you're hosting it, that becomes quickly expensive because that's 1 hour you can't use your GPU. So I see a lot of potential use cases here, not just for fun like I do right now. Imagine if you're a fine-tuning service, like Gina has Fine-Tuner. You got multiple apps that allow fine-tuning, and they all cost money because it's expensive. So that makes sense. But what if you can improve your profit margins and can make it cheaper in the end? Because suddenly you get the same quality with way less waiting time. Well, that's where things get interesting, of course. So another advantage of Leap is that it's completely model agnostic. So right now we have done textual inversion as a demo, but the next one, which is where the grant will be for, I'm already researching it, but you know, it's big stuff, will be for LoRa. And LoRa is a whole different way of fine tuning. I will not go too deep into that, but to give an idea, the fidelity will be much, much bigger because LoRa doesn't just train a new word, it trains a whole bunch of stuff, the text encoder, the image encoder, all of these things will be trained again just for your image, so you get way better results. So is there anything else I can say about it? I think I can share my screen, show the model architecture, and then I think we can see a demo if you guys like. So let me see how I can share my screen here, and then that's all good.
Should be to the right of your camera icon, and there should be a screen icon. You click on that, it should be able to share.
I see it. I had to do stuff with my window, basically. Let's see, so which screen? Can I only select the window? Oh no, wait. Okay, I can select screen 1 and screen 2, and I have no idea which screen is which. Okay, I think this is the one. Do you guys see my screen?
Not yet.
Does it work? Okay, how about now?
Yes.
All right. So this is a flowchart I made really quickly back when people were asking for it. So this is kind of the starting way. It's a bit fake right now, like it doesn't really explain what Leap does, but I'll do that in words. So basically, during training, there happens two things. There's this image and the embed pair. So this is a data set that is available for free, and this data set is completely synthetic. So what we did is you take Stable Diffusion, which is open source, and what we did is we simply looked for every word in the tokenizer that makes sense. And what I mean with makes sense is mostly that it's an object. So think of things like chair, table, webcam, air conditioning, all of these things that kind of have multiple objects that have the same word. So like, for example, if I want the object, I don't know, like a bottle, then this is a bottle, but this is also a bottle. Like you could call this a bottle. So there's different kind of things that I want to, have in the model, so make sure that it can really extract features and map them to a embedding. The problem, however, was that there is a lot of words in the tokenizer. So you get also words like because, where, and by, and. So those kind of stop words. But blocking stop words wasn't enough because there's a lot of other words that simply, how do we say that? It simply doesn't make sense to have because some words aren't stop words. Like training, for example, the word training, it doesn't mean anything, like training, how you're gonna visualize that. So what happened is that we took all of the words that make sense and we did that by this ID, the data creator. We had this file, which is the BIP39 seed file, which is a list of words that is typically being used with Bitcoin. to create seeds for your cryptocurrency. So multiple wallets are using this. And as you can see, there's a lot more words here that make sense, like cabbage, cabin, cage, cake, like all of these make sense. But call, calm, I mean, can, that doesn't make any sense. But during my training, I found that these little words that don't make sense don't really matter. So what do we do with these words? We generate images. So I got access, thankfully, to a really big GPU node thanks to Waifu Diffusion, I believe. They have given that to me. And they basically, we trained many, many, many images, or generated them, thousands upon thousands. And we extracted the weights from Stable Diffusion. So we just go over each token, we save them, and then we simply train on this. So this model, aside from the data extraction, isn't really that special. It extracts the features using a convolution network, and Leap is just a fully connected network with some non-linearities in between to make sure that, well, otherwise you just get a linear translation, of course. So, and that's really all it did, and it worked out pretty well. So, but of course, there's a saying, show, don't tell. So I will get back to that later. We'll get into a demo. So this is what happens during inference. But I will get back to that while running the demo, because while the demo is fast, I mean, I'm an impatient kind of guy. I don't think I can wait on like 3 minutes or something. So let's go to the demo. I'm just checking out where I put my Discord. Oh, here it is. So let's go to my server, and let's go to Alpha Workshop. So yeah, I tried it out here. So what you do, this is a demo on my bot, but this is live. You can use this right now. But of course, you can use Leap anywhere you like. So it's open source on GitHub, but let's just try it out for fun. So let's say I'm doing train. You think of a word, I don't know, like Algovera. And let's get something personal to train on. So let's just go here to kind of show what it does. So I'm just going to get this window here. And if I get my window manager to resize this window, what is the command for this? Yeah, there we go.
Am I the only one who doesn't see that, or?
Oh, do you guys see my screen still?
No, I can see it.
Okay. So it must be fine. Okay. If people can see my screen, then it must be fine, right? So let's just train on this. I don't know what's coming out of this, but you know, whatever. We'll see. So that's one image. So here we have it. You can upload more than one. You can upload 4 images, but Leap 2 can do infinite images, but that may change in the future. So this is basically what you do, and you run. There you go. That's it. So now it's gonna, what's gonna do, it's gonna upload the images to the server, and it will return a progress bar, which will be right about now. So now it should be, yeah, there we go. So now you can see the learning, and after, yeah, you can see how fast it is. So that's not 1 hour. While it's going, I will go back to the inference so I can share with you what's happening underneath the hood while this is running. So what happens is you get your images. So no embedding, just images. And again, they will be feature extracted. So you get just the convolutional network, and Leap outputs weights just through the fully connected network. Those weights are becoming an initializer in Hugging Face's textual inversion script. It's very important to point out here that this is the exact same script as what Hugging Face has released. So there is no real change here. The only change in the script is that there is an initializer weight, which is the one from Leap. We train for a few minutes, then we have our fully trained weights, and we use them in Stable Diffusion. That's all that happens. And more really doesn't need to be done. So it's still training. I have no idea what's coming out of this, by the way, because it's kind of weird screenshot to train on. But yeah, we'll see. So
Maybe are there any questions so far on the on Leap while we wait for it to load?
yeah, that's good. No questions? I was expecting that the balls will be asked out of my pants. Honestly, I don't know why. I was pretty nervous about it. But no, if anyone has any questions in like coming up or something, they can just interrupt me. So you can see now it's at 99%. It's like awkward to hanging there, but that's because it's generating a preview, and there you have it. So um, that's your image, and you can see it kind of like conveys the sprites, and you can use that wherever you want now. So you can kind of do like you can use it in almost any model. So you can go to Stable Diffusion, and you can say Algovera. So see what you can see what happens here. Algovera drinking beer. I don't know what's coming out of this. I have lack of inspiration. So you see what it does now. It's kind of asking you, do you want to use your pre-trained model? So you do yes, and it automatically replaces the token with the text1 version token, and that it does for for ease of use. That has nothing to do with Leap. That's just UI to make sure that people can use my bots in a way that they like, because on phone and stuff it's hard to type certain characters. So yeah, what it does now is just injects the textual version in the original Stable Diffusion, and it just generates your images. So yeah,
Nice.
that's basically what it does, and it's so easy, and it's basically yeah, it's okay. That's awesome. So yeah, it works basically with anything, and it's the other advantage is what I noticed from Leap versus just doing it yourself is that because every model is kind of like the mean of itself, it's kind of in the same range. You don't really have to work on fine-tuning your parameters, and that's a really big game changer, especially for people who are just willing to try it out. They aren't really willing to like figure things out like learning rate or uh, like steps or something, but if they want, they could. Like if I go here, I can select learning rate, I can select the steps I want to learn. Of course, more steps does make it longer, but so yeah, it's user friendly and it's still advanced for those that want it. And yeah,
Is it
people have been playing
available to
around with this a
use
lot.
in other Discords?
Um, I
Like, do
yes,
you have
you
this,
can.
wrapped in a Discord bot?
Yeah, this is there's two ways currently to run this yourself. It's open source on GitHub, and I am planning to create like a hosting service for it so that people can invite the bot to their own service. Of course, this bot cannot be invited because the Gina gift or sponsorship basically goes only extends to my server, so I cannot do this anywhere else.
Sure.
But I can. So what I want to do is right now at this point I feel like the AI Discord bots is really a competitive market, but I feel like with all of the fun stuff I've been doing, and this isn't really about art, it's more about a playground for research.
Yeah.
I figured out, you know what, maybe I really should make this like a public service because there's so much innovation. So that's something that definitely will be in the future. But for now, if you want to
Nice.
run it, it's on GitHub, and the tutorial how to run it yourself is there, which also includes Leap. So it will immediately give you also this command. So yeah,
Awesome.
this is what Leap is right now. And honestly, when this happened, when I uploaded, for instance, myself and I saw myself, I think I screamed so hard that the neighbors heard it and that I had to drink water for the next hour because I felt like this confidence boost. I was like, holy shit, if I can do this, I can do more. This is awesome. And yeah,
Well, it's
I just wanted to
definitely
say,
awesome, Peter. I do have to be respectful for other people's time here. We do have a
I'm so
few other
sorry. I don't know
projects.
even what time I had. I
No
just
worries, please. everyone, you see, I don't know if you can see the emoji reactions. Everyone is
Yeah, I saw
applauding
it.
your
I
proposal.
got all shaky.
Your passion is absolutely awesome and great to see. Um, so, anybody has any questions for Peter, please reach out to him in our Algovera Discord. And yeah, thank you very much.
All right, I'll stop sharing. Um,
Absolutely.
did I stop sharing right now? Yeah. Um,
You did.
I'm gonna mute myself,
Thank
by the
you.
way, because I don't know if I keep talking. Like I'm really in this excited mood, so I'm muting myself, and I'll just give other people the.
Great. Well, the next in line, which I believe I've seen their avatar in Gather Town, is the project Command K, making documentations more personalized and interactive by Good Luck H. Good Luck H, are you here?
Hey, hey guys, I'm here.
Awesome.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. So, um, so basically, if you're a developer, you look at some docs, and you have questions. The current search bar is more about like keyword search. But you know, since the invention of ChatGPT, we can just use OpenAI, trying to make this, I guess, developer experience more interactive. So, a lot of people have been building things like this. They call it, you know, chat your doc or chat your data kind of thing. Um, but I think another thing that I'm building that I don't see a lot of people I don't see a lot of people building is actually on the analytical side, because when your users are asking questions in the search bar or on Discord, those queries are actually very insightful. If you started to collect those queries and analyze those, it gives you a lot of insight, because the key of building a successful product is to actually build something users want. So on the front end side, I already built out this API where you can just like query and it should give you a response. So the end product of this will be a UI representation of this response. It should be integrated with the search bar, right? When you type something, it should give you a pop-up. It's like a chatting page. But then I also have this dashboard thing. This is all demo data, by the way. So you can break down by your product, and you can see the queries count. And then we have this query insights thing. Basically, you can group users' queries by similarities. So for example, you see all these red clusters here. If you look at them, it seems like some things about like installing things on Windows. So if you are the developer of a certain project, you see this kind of data, you just know, okay, maybe I should refine my documentation to tell people more about how to install this plugin on Windows, and it also give you some insight on like how to iterate your product. So I guess this is basically it as of now, but in the future, once you have more and more users, and if those users can be, locked down, we are kind of intending to profile out each user. So basically, based on the questions each user asks, we can probably estimate what product they're trying to build. And if we know that information, imagine we can just like rewrite the whole documentation tailored to what the user is trying to build. That's why we kind of call it the TikTok of documentation. It's highly personalized experience. Yeah, I guess just respect the time here. I guess that's what I have so far, and love to hear any questions or comment you have.
Yeah. Anyone have any questions for Good Luck H?
I have one, but I'm not sure if it's a good one. Is this like some kind of project that you can use to make documentation easier to read, like big documentation, like law kind of stuff? I was wondering about that, because this seems like it personalizes stuff, but can it also do things with documentation, for example, or is that out of scope? Oh.
Are you talking about like documentation as on the website or like documentation inside your code base?
Thanks. Well, I'm not sure if I fully understand the project then, because you said you were having a highly personalized experience, right? Uh, for documentation, right? Like
Oh
what?
yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I understand. Because it's a question answering over Notion date. Okay. Can this be used, for example, with like like with what's the word? Like terms of service, like for example from insurance parties or something, because that's huge, right? Like it's usually like PDFs of 60 pages or something, and it's
oh
very
yeah,
hard to go through.
yeah. I think there are many products like that. If you go on Twitter, I feel like a lot of people are building things like that. It's just called chat your data or chat your document, things like
Mm,
that. Um, but what I'm building is more tailored toward documentation pages,
okay.
and also because we're not selling to our end users. We're actually selling people who are, for example, launching. They are a library owner or like some other companies who have products facing developers. So it's very. I think the key of the product is actually this dashboard is to help our customers understand what their users are asking or even thinking to help them, iterate on their products. So this is just a
Oh,
very, good way to get user feedback without actually, design surveys or like asking
oh,
one-on-one.
that's awesome.
Yeah,
Okay, now I get it. I fully understand. Thank you. I got confused, but I must say now I find it even better. So
thank you.
you're welcome.
I, I would be happy to ask a question, if I may.
Sure.
Please.
I'm I'm pretty like a little bit confused about the process. Like I think that personalized docs is something that is very promising, but I'm confused about the actual implementation of this kind of technology. So basically, what you're offering is a kind of a chatbot or a generation of a personalized doc based on the problem that the developer is doing, or what do you have in mind exactly?
Yeah. So personalization, I guess it comes after. So right now we're just trying to build a simple product that can be used, adopted. Um, but in order to personalize, so I was thinking that the end users maybe, let's say if you want to save your conversation history with a doc, or have some like context memory thing, you have to log in, right? Like, let's say through GitHub. But once you log in, we can start tracking the questions you've been asking, right? So if you keep asking things about, how do I use this transaction API? How do I use pricing API? We could probably say, oh, maybe you're trying to build a banking app or something. And with that information, combined with what we know about our customers' documentation, we can customize a tutorial just for that end user. We could just, instead of the normal, quick start guide, we can just say, oh, how to build a banking app using XYZ. But that comes later part once we have like more user adoptions and obviously like more compute power as well for that. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, so if I understood it correctly, it means that the doc would change per user according to their questions, right?
Yeah. Um, yeah, that's at later stage once we are able to map out each user's profile. Because another thing is like, if you are the developer, you're building something, you are not just using one tech stack, you could be using multiple ones. And if many of those tech stacks also use our product, we could just like have more positions on like what they're trying to build.
Yeah, thank you for this answer. This is amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool. It looks like localization, you have your hand raised. Do you have a final question for Good Luck H?
Yes, hello everybody. I was thinking about this could be like a tool for a feedback analysis for a search engine, for example. So I
Mm-hmm.
know what topics the people are searching. mm, Kind of this thing could be.
You mean like feedback part? Yeah, that part would be the dashboard product. Is that
Uh-huh.
what you're interested in? I mean, if people actually find the dashboard thing valuable, you know, like not just collecting queries from, you know, search part of it. You could just integrate with other chatbots or something from Discord or even from your Twitter thread
Mm-hmm.
to get more, you know, informations and then group them to give you more insight.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Awesome. Thank you, Good Luck H, for the presentation. The next one that we have, and the final one, is Science Letter by Guillaume. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that correctly. Are you here, my friend? Looks like you are.
I'm here. No worries, I
Awesome.
know the name is not easy. So, yeah, I promise to be quick because I know that we are almost on time. And I will share very quickly my exploration project on AI, that is Science Letter. I prepared a couple of slides. Can you see my screen, right?
Yes.
So, yeah, basically what this was coming from is a project where I was trying to test many capabilities of large language models. And I tried to pack all the capabilities that I found useful in a single potential product that can be hopefully useful for somebody. So basically, the problem that we are trying to solve or help with is the current problem with keeping up to date with research. That you know that nowadays research is crazy, the number of papers that every day are coming up, and it's very hard to keep up to date because you don't have any curation on your interests, and maybe you are only interested on very specific topics, and there's no easy way to quickly grasp the content of a paper. So, as I will show with Science Letter, it's something that we could do. And on the other hand, another thing that we can try to improve with Science Letter is the reach of scientific insights, because another problem that we have is that usually papers are written mainly in English and mainly for a high-level technical audience, and then by refactoring the content via large language models, we could be able to increase the reach to other kinds of audiences, like non-English audiences or with lower levels of technical knowledge. Okay, so very quickly I will show a demo of what I've done. That basically is this. This is a tool that could make this newsletter crafting scalable, so basically, or configurable. Basically here you can input your topics of interest, okay, and the content style of your newsletter. And then imagine that every week you receive a newsletter that is covering all the content that has been published in the last week on the topics that are of your interest. In this case, I'm putting examples for medicine, but actually you could do it with artificial intelligence, machine learning, any topic in R-chip like physics or whatever. No. So let's show an example here. Let's say that I'm interested in COVID, and then that I want the summary in quick 3 bullet points and written in Spanish, like in the examples that I put here. Okay, so I will launch this to craft the newsletter. And then for now, what we are supporting just is medRxiv, okay? That it's the same as Archive, but for medical research. And then what you will see is that from all these articles that we have here, okay, what the app is doing is like running a semantic search on top of all these articles. And for example, classifying based on the title and the abstract if this article is talking about COVID or not. For example, obviously this first one is not, but we could see that we have some SARS-CoV, it's referring to COVID, and for example, this one, okay? So coming back to the demo, this is the newsletter that is crafted, okay? So you get a summary of your topic of interest with the only two papers that are talking about COVID, okay? So SARS-CoV and COVID here. And then a summary of the abstract in 3 bullet points and in Spanish, because it's your format of preference. Here, obviously, what we could do is like define other formats of preference that could be written in English, other languages, and then, for example, one format that I think is interesting is ask question and answers, or for example, 1 line per each section of the paper. And as you can see, you can customize and personalize your newsletter as you want in natural language. So coming back to the presentation, what I have here is like what I was telling you about. It's different capabilities that large language models have, and that I'm using to personalize your content, your newsletter in this case. So the first one is you can use a large language model as a universal scraper. That's quite powerful because basically you can input an HTML file or page, and then you can scrape, for instance, in this case, for article titles, for abstracts, wherever. So that's one thing. The other one is semantic search and classification, in that case, to filter out the topics of interest based on the titles and the abstracts. Then translation, you can support multilingual translation with the models. And finally, content generation. So you can configure very easily the format, style, and tone that you want to write the content. So that's how I'm using basically large language models to automate all this workflow. So yeah, and that are the next steps. Like the idea is like obviously add more paper sources, so anyone that is interested on receiving this science letter could be putting topics that are outside of medicine right now, and setting up a vector database and try different options to be able to do semantic search at scale, because right now obviously this was just a proof of concept and I was trying just a single website for now. And start sending newsletters to our 55 subscribers so far, because I basically put the demo in Twitter and then people were subscribing. So if we get the grant, we will develop more the project. I think it has some potential also to solve these problems for the people and receive these weekly newsletters that could be useful for them, and develop more the project. And that's all. Let me know if you have any question.
Nice. Yeah, this is epic. I would love to be one of those subscribers. Yeah, this is awesome.
Nice.
Anyone have any questions?
And maybe I have one, if I can. You mentioned that, well, I like it very, very much. And
Thank
you
you.
mentioned that you could do this in any topic. Let's say that is not, the database is not the medicine publish, whatever. It could be any other topic. Like
Yeah, that's the idea. No, so because we are using large language models, in that case GPT-3, that knows almost about any topic. GPT-3 is able to classify an article to a given topic, of your preference.
Mhm.
So if you have a classification with a certain score, you can say, okay, this article is talking about this topic. That could be any topic like particle physics, or very specific things like uses of AI inside medicine and things like this. So yeah, the idea is that all by using large language models, it's very scalable because you can use it in any language, about any topic, about any paper journal. So the idea is that, yes, it should work.
Nice, very nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can anyone demo it? Is it demoable? I think you listed a demo. I didn't know if it was a video or not. But yeah, can anyone try it out?
So
Currently in its state.
here I have the tweet that I did with a demo, and I didn't set up
Awesome.
a server because it was just a proof of concept. But yeah, like as you have seen, like the demo was working right now because the page was from today. I could set up a server or a Hugging Face app to try it out if needed. But the idea at the end is like for the subscribers just to receive the newsletter, and this is the tool that makes it possible to do it, like to scale it. No, because if not, like you have to write a different content for a different person. At the end, newsletters right now, they work like you send the same copy to everyone. And here we are talking about that you will send a different copy to each reader. So it's something also, I think, creative and interesting.
Definitely. Well, sweet. Thank you. Any final questions? Anyone? Great stuff. All right. Well, thanks everyone for presenting today and being here. We are about 6 minutes past the hour. I am just going to give some grant and community updates, and I'll let you guys go. So right now, on the 19th of February is when we start voting. Okay, so this means that I'm going to account for all the community reviews on the forum. Anybody who did a quality review will get a reviewer's reputation badge. Any badge that you collect will be a vote towards the projects that we govern. So it'll help you govern which projects get funding. And so if you haven't yet, just do your review so I can make sure you get a badge. Second way that you can get a badge and therefore a vote is joining our member directory. If you haven't done that, please do. And I will just send an announcement to the entire community today so you guys have those links. And yeah, so I'll do that today. 19th, we start voting. The voting ends on the 23rd. And we'll do a final last town hall where projects get to present this Wednesday on the 22nd. So I hope to see all of you there. Any final questions on that before we go?
Yeah, one, just a small confusion.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't have to present there again, right? It's just for the projects that haven't been presenting yet. Just
Correct.
for mental reasons. Okay.
Yeah,
Then I know
exactly.
that I don't have to prepare anything.
Yeah, so it's we have like I think 18, I don't know, between 18 and 20 proposals for this grant round. So yeah, want to give a space for any of the other projects that want to present and share their stuff.
Awesome. I'll be there. I love this conversation.
Yeah, it's awesome. Cool. Any final words, anyone, or questions? All right, sounds good. Well, I'll make that announcement and I'll talk to you guys soon.
Thank you for having us.
Peace.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
See
Thanks,
ya.
everyone. Bye bye.
Bye.